start? Good morning. I can't hear you. Good morning. Namaste. Okay, let me start off. It is said, though man a thinking being is defined, how few use this grand prerogative of the mind, how few justly think of the thinking few, how many never think but think they do. To question the very process of thinking and to fine-tune our thinking mode will help us in handling uncertainty in a sane way rather than unsane way. Let me start with an example. As soon as a person gets so stressed up with stress, stressed up with targets, stressed up with goals, so he gets so worked up, it seems, his source of a stress was his wife. So he keeps the wife's photograph on the kind of wall there, and in his office, he wants to release his stress, like some of you released your stress yesterday very well. So he releases his stress, keeps the wife's photograph, and takes darts, and hits. And even there, he's missing the target. Every time he hits, he misses the target, and he gets more worked up. And as soon as his wife's phone call comes and says, "Sweetheart, what are you doing?" And he says, "I'm missing you, darling. I'm missing you," he says. Now, friends, we may be very smart in telling lies very truthfully. All right? But let us not fool ourselves by smart answers. Like a teacher asked the student, what is common between Krishna, Buddha, Mahavira, and Mahatma Gandhi? And the student replies, all are born on government holidays. All right? Very, very smart. All right? So therefore, let us be alert while handling uncertainty, which 45 minutes you have given me to talk. Let us not give smart answers and fool ourselves. And by doing that, our basic stress does not go. See, the problem, please understand, if you don't address uncertainty, which is a part and parcel of the package of life, all right, your stress gets mounted up, and when your stress gets mounted up, drinking is not a solution, rain dance is not a solution, right, even though it's wonderful to do that, right, and therefore they add chaos to chaos. Please get this. Highest rate of suicide among professionals about 15 to 17 years back. Can you guess it was among whom? It was among psychiatrists. The highest rate of suicide among professionals, about 16 or 17, I don't know, was among psychiatrists. And the psychiatrist is to go to release their tension. And in Los Angeles, I have interacted with them. A lot of yogic models, etc., to release their stress. It's like, a psychiatrist, highest amount of suicide, they went through counseling. It's like a beautiful, pretty girl goes to a psychiatrist, about 19 years, gorgeous, blue-eyed blonde, goes to a psychiatrist and says, doctor, I have a lot of tension. And the psychiatrist is about 57 years old. And he said, a lot of tension. And the middle-aged psychiatrist gets up, hugs her, kisses her, and sits down. And the patient says, why did you do that? And the psychiatrist says, I released my tension. Now, what is your tension? Such a pretty woman in front of me, mera tension badh gaya bhi. Now, therefore, please understand, if you may have a lot of knowledge, but your stress is not released there. A person goes to a doctor and says, every part of me is a problem. The doctor itself gets confused. Every part, show me, he says. And the patient takes her pointing finger, long pedicure, manicure she has done, long finger, and then touches, this is paining, She herself touches every part, And the doctor gets confused, all right? And the doctor thoroughly checks up and says, you're perfectly okay. Then where is the problem? Your pointing finger is fractured. He says, your pointing finger is fractured now. And then she touches, The problem is we are fractured. And when we are fractured, listening to me also, some of you may have stress. In one of my workshops, I take a lot of corporate workshops. This is a talk. In a workshop, I move around with the audience. And I like to look at people's eyes as I'm talking. There's a less which can manipulate. When I look at somebody's eyes, some people get tensed up when I look. Hey, why Swamiji is looking at my eyes? I think he has intention. And that he comes from Bangalore. Bangalore, all complicated people. All right? If I look at their eyes problem, if I don't look, why Swamiji is not looking at my eyes? Because I'm not a Brahmin. If I look, it is a problem. If I don't look, it is a problem. And therefore, please understand, the problem is not me or the situation or uncertainty. The problem is you. The pointing finger fractured. And we have to look. Therefore, philosophy in Sanskrit is called Darshan Shastra. In English, philosophy means love for knowledge. In Sanskrit, it's called Darshan. And most of you know a little Hindi. And Darshan means seeing. We have to see what is the genesis of our disorder. Is it uncertainty is stress, or your perception of uncertainty is stress? And if your perception is distorted, it is like, a Hyderabad couple goes all the way to Benares, the old ancient city of India, goes to Benares for a holiday, and goes to Benares, and Benares is famous for silk saris, and then immediately the wife tells her husband, sweetheart, empty your pocket. And this person says, what her husband says, why? Empty your pocket, just look. Problem with you, husbands, you don't look. He said, what is it to look? Just look on the shop. Cotton saris, 5 rupees. Nylon saris, 7 rupees. Silk saris, 10 rupees. Arey, itna sasta hai, so cheap, silk saris is 10 rupees. And in Hyderabad, it is 2,000 rupees. Empty your pocket. And the husband says to the wife, "Ye Sundari ka maa, ye istri ka dukhan hai." Arey, ye istri ka dukhan hai ye. It's a laundry shop. No, she saw rightly, but still she was wrong. She saw rightly, silk saris 10 rupees, but the context was wrong. So she saw right, and still the context was wrong. And this is exactly what is happening. You think you are seeing rightly, and if your context is wrong, your perception is distorted, even though your perception may appear as though it is correct. So you and I need to perceive our uncertainty properly. So therefore it is called darshan. Let us see it properly. How are we relating to stress, sir? How are we relating to uncertainty? Is a question that you need to ask. How are you relating to uncertainty? Is really uncertainty the problem, or your perception, your approach to uncertainty is the problem? And if you don't question, then please see, we form a conclusion. Uncertainty is creating problem, and the conclusion creates this distorted perception. And when conclusions create a distorted perception, you perceive the world based on your conclusion. You don't perceive the world based on actuality. Are you getting, friends? Most of the time, we relate life, we come from fear. Our life has been fear-oriented living. Bishasmat vataf pavate, bishodeti suryaha. The Veda says, if you look, people are always operating from fear. And fear is the ground of being. It seems a Sufi character called Mullah Nasruddin was driving the car, and his friend observed every time there was a honking of a lorry, Mullah is to shiver. A Sufi character called Mullah Nasruddin is to shiver. But the honking of any other vehicle, nothing is to happen to Mullah. Only the honking of a lorry. At the end of 2 hours, his friend asked Mullah, why is only the honking of a lorry you shiver, not the honking of a car, etc.? And Mullah says, I'm saying something confidential, keep it to yourself. He says, because my wife ran away with a lorry driver. And every time there's a honking of a lorry, I'm scared, he says, where the lorry driver will return the wife back to me. Everything is so complicated now. We operate from fear. And when you operate from fear makes you experience uncertainty, not factually. Fear makes you experience uncertainty in a distorted way. Fear doesn't make you relate to uncertainty factually. It makes you experience in a distorted way. And therefore, Buddha, the great saint of India, says we never experience an experience. Buddha says we never experience an experience. Because the experiencer pollutes the experience, and therefore you don't purely experience as experience. The experiencer pollutes. If you have an experiencer who dislikes spiritual leaders, dislikes spiritual monks, you will experience me as a source of your nuisance. So you're not factually experiencing. You know, in my book I've given this example. A cab driver was driving the cab. Listen very carefully. A cab driver was driving the cab. The passenger, first time he comes to Bombay, he wants to ask a question. So he pats him on the back, the passenger. The moment he pats him, the cab driver gets so panicky, Bombay cab driver, he goes left, right, he goes haywire. After 5 minutes, he puts a brake, pasina aa gaya, he started sweating, right? And after 2-3 minutes, he takes a deep breath, turns and tells the passenger, for heaven's sake, don't touch me while I'm driving the cab. The passenger says, sir, first time I've come to Bombay, I want to know where Powai is, and I had asked a question, therefore I patted you. And you know Bombay cab drivers, like soda bottle, you know, brrr, gussa aata hai, brrr, it comes down. He immediately comes down and says, hey, he cools down the cab driver and says, hey, it's not your problem, it is my problem. The passenger was from South India, first time to Bombay. He says, what is the problem? And the cab driver says, it's the first day I'm driving the cab. And then he says, for 25 years, I've been driving a van. The cab driver says, for 25 years, I've been driving a van. And today is the first day I'm driving the cab. Now the passenger gets more confused. Kya bada fark hai van aur cab mein? What is the big difference between a van and a cab? The cab driver says, 25 years I was driving a van. Today is the first time I'm driving the cab. And in the van, I was carrying dead bodies. I was carrying dead bodies. So when you touched me, I thought some Bhutha and Preta touched me. Now friends, in my book I've asked this question, did the cab driver experience the experience of patting? Is 25 years of a van driver carrying dead bodies polluted the experience? So the past polluted the experience, the experiencer polluted the experience, and you experience the experience according to the experiencer. And this is what has happened to people's life. We don't experience an experience. The experiencer, your autobiography, your conclusions, your opinions, your dogma, your religious beliefs, disbelief, they come, translate an experience according to the translation and not according to the factuality. Are you getting? Are we meeting or not? Past. So therefore, uncertainty in its purity is not experience. The translator, the experience, comes and translates uncertainty according to the programming of the translator, which is the experiencer. Are you getting, friends? It's like, now 2 kids were making a lot of noise. So the mother said, right, let us give, we'll send to them to the church. And the Christian father said, you send and I will handle it. So the 2 kids went to the chapel. And in the chapel, a big chapel like this, all right, nobody was in the chapel. And the kids, young kids, 8 to 10 years, brothers, making a lot of noise. The Christian father behind the curtain, all right, he had told the mother to send the children. Behind the curtain, he says, Jack, where is God? In a mystical tone, the Christian father behind the curtain, right, in the chapel, only the 2 kids are playing. He says, where is God? The 8-year-old kid looks here and there. Nobody is there. Jesus photograph on the cross. Right? Then again he continues playing. Again, the father behind the curtain, hiding himself. Jack, where is God? In a mystical tone 3 times. And the kid, the 3rd time, he tells his friend, or he tells his brother, hey, Robert, let us run from this chapel. They go run, close the chapel outside. His brother asks, why? Hey, the church has lost God and they're blaming on us. The church has lost God and they're blaming on us. Jack, where is God? Poor Christian father wants to educate him. This is place of God. But the translator in Jack translates it as the church has lost God and blaming on us. This is what exactly is happening to people. The experiencer pollutes the experience, and you experience the experience based on the experiencer. So we never factually experience what is. We don't factually experience. 75% snake bites are non-poisonous. 75. But a non-poisonous snake bites you, 75% of the time people faint and die. No, logically, snake should die. Because so much of poison in us. I've been seeing you yesterday. So much of poison. Non-poisonous snake bites. This fellow, he dies. All right? No, therefore, has the snake, non-poisonous snake, killed you, or your very thought, oh, snake is a poison which killed you? What killed you, friends? Thought killed us. We don't die from heart attack, we die from thought attack. Dishu, on thought. So therefore, please understand, from fear, you relate to uncertainty. And from fear, you relate to uncertainty. Fear has its own structure, and it pollutes uncertainty. Tell me, what is a problem with uncertainty? What is a problem with uncertainty? Uncertainty means uncertainty, that's all. It's fun. You go to a movie, it's uncertain what is the ending. And it's so wonderful, you don't know what the ending is. Why are we making a problem of nothing? Uncertainty is uncertainty, sir. How are you relating to uncertainty? With stress, you mess it up. Now, with your ego, you mess it up. With fear, you mess it up. So mind with fear and stress messes up. And we bring our heart to uncertainty, our heart, all right? And that messes up because in the heart, because the heart of education is the education of the heart. And with the heart, what do? We only fall in love. Somebody comes and says, Swamiji, I've fallen in love, what should I do? I told him, why the hell should you fall in love? Rise in love, no. Fellow goes on falling in love instead of rising in love. So our heart falls in love, head, fear, and with this disorder, you want to handle uncertainty. Are you getting what I'm saying? No. It is like, very interestingly, there's a beautiful Hindi shairi who says, hey, I'll say it in Hindi, the shairi says, जब मेरा बेटा रोता है, जब मेरा बेटा रोता है, दिल में दर्द होता है. जब मेरा बेटा रोता है, दिल में दर्द होता है. जब पड़ोसी का बेटा रोता है, सिर में दर्द होता है. जब मेरा बेटा रोता है, दिल में दर्द होता है. पड़ोसी का बेटा रोता है, सिर में दर्द होता है. जब मेरी पत्नी रोती है, सिर में दर्द होती है. पड़ोसी का पत्नी रोती है, दिल में दर्द होता है. अरे माया का खेल देखो. सब अस्त व्यस्त हो गया हमारा जीवन. जब जीवन अस्त व्यस्त होता है, आपका परसेप्शन भी एक विकृति होता है, कृति नहीं. No, this disorder we relate, sir. So clean this up. Clean this up. All right? And look at uncertainty. What is the problem with uncertainty, sir? I don't know what is going to happen. So what? I don't know what is going to happen. But when you come with fear, what's the spelling of fear? F-E-A-R. It is fantasized experience appearing real. All our fear is a fantasized experience appearing real. A beautiful, blue-eyed, gorgeous, 25 years old secretary comes to a middle-aged CEO as a secretary. And the beautiful, gorgeous secretary is from Goa. And the CEO is a middle-aged man, is from Chennai, Orthodox person. And every time she smiles, this fellow concludes she's interested in me. Every time Goa people go on smiling. And when she smiles, she gets, he's interested in me. And one day she says, please come home for dinner. Now the CEO, middle-aged CEO is cocksure she's interested in me. Itna khush ho gaya, santosh, my God. Even young people are falling in love with me. So he goes, the middle-aged CEO goes to the secretary's house, candle lit. My God, the scene shows cocksure she's interested in me. My God, his romance, he becomes very alive. Anyway, he wanted a change. So he becomes very alive. Then beautiful romantic song, right? Again, she was cocksure, right? And she pours wine at her house. Again, cocksure she's interested in me, right? Waiting then. After taking wine, she goes inside and says, please come inside this room. Now this, what a clean scene, she's interested. No idiot can say no. Clean scene. And when she gets inside, he says, make sure you take out your coat. She says, as she gets inside, cocksure, take out your coat means he took out coat, pant, and underwear also. Because very clear. All right? When he gets inside the hall, gets inside the room, the room is dark, suddenly the light is on, and all the members of the staff sing, happy birthday to you. And he comes with a birthday suit. She wanted to give a surprise on a birthday. This fellow imagines. And what happened in the imagination? All right? He thinks all romancing. Therefore, fear is what? It is fantasized experience appearing real, sir. There is uncertainty. Why do you project so many things? Meet uncertainty wisely. If it is uncertain, that uncertainty has to be dealt not with fear, it has to be dealt with alertness, with openness, with aliveness. So how do you treat a problem? Please understand, how do you treat a problem? Problem can be uncertainty, problem can be husband, problem can be target, problem can be your neighbor's wife. It can be anywhere. And everybody's life has problems. Yes or no? Tell me yes or no. Everybody's life, including the speaker's life, full of problems. Everybody has problems, sir. But the problem, are you relating it wisely or otherwisely? If you relate to a problem with exaggeration, you make a mountain out of a molehill. If you underestimate a problem, again, you are being a victim to the problem. And if you are indifferent to a problem, it's a stupid way of relating to a problem. So a problem, either you exaggerate, underestimate, or become indifferent. All are errors. But in a problem, if you have fun with the problem, if you treat a problem as a challenge, and if you raise your awareness with reference to dealing a problem, right, it becomes a creative opportunity to bring out your best. So uncertainty can be a problem, target can be a problem, relate it wisely or relate it otherwisely. If you relate it wisely, have fun with it. In Sanskrit it's called as Ananda Lahari. Lahari means waves, Ananda means joy. So any problem, sir, if you're not understanding what I'm saying, simply enjoy not understanding. Simply enjoy it. Now you must say, how to enjoy? You can enjoy. You unnecessarily put rain and you people will dance. You're enjoying it, no? You're enjoying it. When rain comes, you're at home, watching rain and with umbrella. So therefore, you have decided to enjoy, so you'll enjoy.
Here's an interesting question from Padmini of Seagull Advertising. And she asks, So are you saying we shouldn't learn from past experience?
Over?
Over.
Okay. No, I didn't say that. That's your translation. All right, be aware of the translation. I say, past has a play. Don't get trapped in your past. Please, to be trapped in your past is different from learning from the past. It is said, please, it is said, Hitler did not learn from history, therefore he attacked Russia at winter, he said. If you have seen Hitler attack Russia in winter, the same mistake which Napoleon had done, all right, he never learned from history. So we have to learn from past, not get entrapped in the past. When you learn from the past, please understand, learning becomes past becomes a good reference. But if you are trapped in the past, then you will continue doing what you know. And if you continue doing what you know, your actions can never be new. If your actions can never be new, creativity can never happen. Because if you continue doing what you have done, you will get what you have got. If you continue doing what you have done, you will get what you have got. So the past has given you something, learn from it, don't be trapped by it, and freshly create something. But we get trapped in what we know. And if you get trapped in what you know, is what I'm warning you. Learn from what you know. Don't get trapped. Because one has to learn the acumen of learning.
Wonderful. Well, here's one more question from Aditi of IMEPL. She asks, when we wake up, what should be the first thought? And that will help us live through life.
Very good question. Very good question. You know, in India, there's a practice, all right, occult practice in India. All right, it's called Navaratri. Navaratri means new night. Nava means new night. All right, before you go to sleep, you're supposed to do a meditation. And the meditation you're supposed to do, I'm not going to the details of the meditation, is go to sleep with a sacred thought, a noble sacred thought. When you go to sleep with a noble sacred thought, now, and thus go to sleep, unlike people watch the TV, violence, and go to sleep. Research has shown that garbage in is garbage out. If you are always watching garbage of violence, and you go to sleep, you will get up the next day morning like a hangover of drinks. You will get up in that type of thing. You will get up. So therefore we say go to sleep with a sacred thought. When you go to sacred thought, the first thought, if it is a noble sacred thought, then you have slept wisely. All right. Now what should be first, to get a noble first thought, let your sleep, the last thought, be very sacred. Okay, that apart, somebody asked the Zen master, what's your secret of being so happy? He asked the Zen master, what is the secret? And the Zen master says, the first thing I get up in the morning, I ask, do I want to be in heaven or do I want to be in hell? The Zen master answers, the first thing when I get up in the morning, I ask this question, do I want to be in heaven or hell? Now, naturally I choose to be in heaven. When I choose to be in heaven, I create heaven every moment of my whole day. So choose to be in heaven and create heaven every moment. And to create heaven every moment is to create joy every moment. Right now, listen to me, listen joyfully. If you don't understand also, my God, I'm not understanding. Wow. I can't understand the boss. I can't understand my husband. I can't understand. Wow. And once you say, all right, if you bring joy each moment, then your action will be filled with joy. When action is filled with joy, your action is not going to be a begging bowl for joy.